But first, a sip of coffee. That coffee is still too hot for me to drink because I have a wuss mouth. Oh, and I've brought peaches. If you feel the need for a peach, you're a little peckish, have a peach. Let's do math. Number 18. Who would like to give me the answer to number 18? B, as in bum on the street. Everyone is happy with B? It is B. Yay. I'm going to go with light green today. Who would like to tell me 19? C? Are we perfectly happy with C? We are what? B. Oh, I have a B and I have a C. Let's arm wrestle for it. No, of course, ladies and gentlemen. What happens right there? X to the negative 20 over X to the negative 9. What happens right there? No. You subtract. What is negative 20 minus negative 9? No. That addition, man. I hate being in pre-calc 11 and not being able to add. Negative 11. B. Even if, now, those of you that said to flip, you're absolutely right. The 20 would come down there, the 9 would go up there, which would be C. But then, of course, you have the same base. So you have to do 9 minus 20, which is negative 11. And negative 11 would go back down to the denominator. 20. Are you sure this time, Lucas? You were very vocal about the last C. 100%? It is correct. It is C. 21. Hey, Lucas, you're back on a roll, buddy. 22. Ooh, I got C's, I got E's. What is it? E. And that page is out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, of course, remember, if you don't know why I am circling a letter, don't just circle it. Say, hey, Myers, why is that the case? So I can explain it to you. Aight? Anji? That is, yeah, that's still true, right? You're not messing with my head. I'm not saying dick. Yeah? Okay. No, I don't need to say that. 23. C? Is everybody agreeing with Lucas? He's our go-to guy? Caleb's over there like, yeah, he's got it. It is C. Yay. 24. B? D? As in doornail? It is not actually D. It is not actually B. It is C. Why is it C? Why is it C?
Because it can be also negative.
Yeah, negative 25 squared is 625. That's a tricky one, I know, I'm sorry, I apologize. 25. 25 is very tricky. What? B. Okay, Heyman. 26. D. 16. 27. B. D. Yes, it is D. And 28. E. That one's out of 6. And I think this is the last page, isn't it? Yeah, okay. 29. B? D. It is D. 30. Oh, it's not multiple choice. What happened to the choices?
9.
It is 9.
I use my computer.
Well, it's kind of cheating, but that's okay. Sure. 31. B is correct. 32. A is correct. 33. D is correct. 34. Ooh, tricky, tricky. C is correct. 35. E is correct. And 36. Yeah, it's like Sesame Street in here. Okay, what does the negative exponent do? So it becomes 1 over negative 27 all to the 2/3, yes?
Yeah.
So now I need the cubed root of that, right? Which is 1 over negative 3, yes? And that has to be squared. What's negative 3 squared? Positive 9. So it is 1 over 9, and it is D. And that page is out of, I don't know, 7? 1, 2, 8. Making the whole thing out of 36. Give yourself a mark out of 36 by adding up your previous 4 numbers. You will write that number out of 36 on your quiz. You will do the quiz. We will mark the quiz. You will put a total on the quiz. You will hand it up to me. I will record both numbers and give the quiz back to you. Okay? Okay. Here are your 2 warm-ups for your quiz. Go. Practice for your quiz. You don't even need to write it down. You can just do them in your head and see if it's going to be right. Or you can write them anywhere on a piece of paper that you have space. You could write it right in your white book. Anywhere. You just finished page 36. There's room at the bottom of that. Or page 23. 24. There's the questions. You can try them both. They're warm-ups. I will tell you right now, they are about the same level of difficulty as the open-ended questions. The multiple choice questions are a little harder because, of course, the answer is on the page. I went and bought batteries for all my calculators yesterday, but one didn't work, Tirath. It was a dead calculator. As a math teacher, I felt a little bit sad to see a dead calculator. I'm just kidding. I couldn't care less. I hate calculators. But I do need to check if what battery this calculator takes. Because this calculator also needs a battery. Pardon me? That wasn't very nice of you. It's my calculator. Did you bring it back today? Well, then it doesn't really matter. That's a super pain in the butt. Got it. I don't have that type of battery. Now I'm going to have to go buy another battery. Although my good friend Mr. Van B just bought some of those batteries. All right, who thinks they've got both of these 100% correct and is ready for the quiz? You sure, Lucas? That doesn't sound good. All right. Now, battery for that tomorrow. Okay. What happens right there? Nice. What happens down there? 2b7. What happens there? What's 6 minus 7? These all disappear and leave what in the numerator? 1. What happens to 6 of these guys? They go away, leaving a b and a 2. How many people got it right? You don't have to say. You can just be like, I got it. Okay. Ooh, barf. Where should you start here? Right where the red dot is? So it would be 2k negative 2 over 2k negative 2 times k to the negative 7. Now what? 12. Yes, 12. Can you do what, Anna? Can you do that? Leaving k to the negative 12 in the denominator. So what would happen? K12. Is everybody happy with that? How did you get what, huh? 7? This one? When I screwed up? Over here? What's 4 plus 3? I won't mind. Everyone is good? Everyone is ready to write their test? Their quiz? That doesn't count for marks? Huh? All right. What are you going to do when I hand this to you? You're going to write 2 pieces of information on it. What are they? Name and your score out of 36. Now, 4, I lie, 5 multiple choice, 3 open-ended. The open-ended ones are on the back. Okay? Okay. Well, yes, it was D. Yay, 1 mark for everyone. Number 2, who wants to give me number 2? A, absolutely correct. You guys must have had a really good Math 10 and Math 11 teacher because you got those 2 and they weren't easy. A. What about number 3? Really? All right. Yeah, you're right. And 4? D. I didn't fool any of you by messing with the order of the letters. Stop it. You guys are so smart. And number 5? D. Give yourself a mark out of 5 on the front page. Turn the page over. 6. 2p cubed over p to the fourth times p to the negative 4. 4 and negative 4 go away. 2p cubed. 2 marks for all the open-endeds. 7 y cubed over, now this is where, if you're going to screw this up, this is where you're going to screw it up. 16 x to the 8th, because that 4 has to go to the 2. Times x to the negative 6 and y to the positive 3. Then y cubed over 16x squared y cubed. Then the y cubes disappear, leaving you with 1 over 16x squared. Yeah? And that was the Easter egg, because that's the exact same question as number 5. I'm interested to see, did anybody get number 7 wrong and number 5 right? Or number 5 right and number 7 wrong? I hope not. And the last one, x to the 4th over 8x to the 9th times x, which is x to the 4th over 8x to the 10th. They all cancel. 4 of those cancel, so it's 1 over 8x to the 6th. For 6 points on the backside, making the whole quiz out of 11. At the top of your page, there should be 2 numbers. One of them is out of 36. One of them is out of 11. Heyman. Yes, I can. Number 8. Yeah, that's cool. So the 3 has to go to the 3 and the 2, right? So that's 8x to the 9th. Then I add 1 more x. There's no exponent. The exponent is 1, right? So it's 8x to the 10th. To the 10th. And then 4 minus 10 is negative 6. So it has to stay down there. And the 8 never moves because the 8 never got an exponent that was negative. Everybody cool? 2 numbers on the front. Bring them up to the front. And then turn to page 25. We're going to be going over that in a moment, but I got to pee. Bring them up, put them right there.
That one, right? What did you...
How much you get? This thing. Tem que botar do exercício também. Não, 11 principalmente. É 33, 36.
Não, e dá pra...
Ah, tá,
dois.
bota. Yeah, no wonder who
I thought that was the one to say start going down. All right, do I have everybody's quizzes in a nice neat pile?
I didn't finish this.
That's okay, Lucas. Cherith, what'd you do? Are they bullying you? You need me to sort them out? You sure? Okay. You handle that. All right. Okay. I have put these particular questions on a secondary review, and I have entitled it the sneaky review, because the concepts do not change, but everything on this page is kind of underhanded and deceitful. All right? So, Who can explain to me why this is true? Aaron Downey. Right. This one is 1. This one is -1. Why?
Because the second one does not have so it's the whole number, it's negative.
Right. This, the negative is part of the base. Anything to the 0 power is 1. This one, the negative is not part of the base. So 8 to the 0 is 1, and then there's a negative in front. The negative is not part of the base. Right there. Now, notice please that the negative base is allowed. I have said this about 1,000,000 times. On your test on Tuesday, some of you are still going to move negative bases. I don't know how to help you. Okay? Negative bases don't move. What is the only thing that moves? Negative exponents. The only time a base would move is if the base is included with brackets. Okay? 8x to the -2 is significantly different than 8x to the -2. Okay? Which one of those, left or right, will the 8 have to move? This one. This 8 would not move. This is 8 over x squared. This is 1 over 8x squared, which is 1 over 64x. Oh, x squared. Everybody good? Sweet. Evaluate. What does the word evaluate mean in math class? Simplify is different than evaluate. Solve it. Find me the single number. No letters, no exponents, the single number that it is. Right? What there has to move? The 5 and the -2. Where does it move? Up top. What math is happening between them? Multiplication. Becomes positive when it moves up. 3 times 25 equals 75. Is everybody good? All right. Now, number 3. Number 3 makes math teachers cry a little bit because almost all of you will take this x equals 1/2 and you will put it in there, and in there. That's what most of you want to do. That's a bad decision. Why? Now, all of you that wanted to do that are like, oh my God, that's what I was going to do. I don't want to do. He's saying that's a bad decision. I don't know. Why is that a bad decision? Hello, Aaron. Right on time for your quiz. Amazing. Well done. Damaris.
It says x equals 1/2. You can solve for the x and then put 1.
Yes. Except you're not solving yet. You're whatting. What's the other S word? Simplify. Make things simple before you do any math. Because this is a giant mess. But this, x to the 4th plus x to the 0, which is x to the 4th plus 1, is a lot easier to deal with now. Because now how many substitutions do I have to make? Only 1. Now, what is it going to be? Now, what do I do with the x equals 1/2? I'll let you think about it for a moment. 1/2 to the 4th plus 1, which equals 1/16 plus 1, which equals 1 and 1/16. Damaris. How did I get this part right here? Well, what happens if I gave you this and you were in grade 10? 3x plus 7, what would you do? You would distribute. And you would get 3x plus 21, yeah? Okay. X times x is x to the 4th, yes? X to the 3, x to the negative 3. Okay. Now, you also could have simplified in here, yes? Right? Which would be, I'll change colors, which would be x cubed and 1 minus 3, x to the negative 2, yeah? Which would be x to the negative 6, yeah? Right? Which would be 1 over x to the 6, yeah? Which would be 1 over 1/2 to the 6 is 1/64th. Right? I just wrote 1/16th. X to the 6, is that 64? 64. Right? Now, here's what's going to happen. A great many of you will simplify that this way. Is that right? Really? Why isn't it right, Carlos? This one is right, right? This one is wrong, but a bunch of you want to do that, I am betting. Why? What math is happening there? Addition. When do we add exponents? When we multiply, right? That's why this is in the sneaky review, because a whole bunch of you are going to do that. Did any of you want to do that? You can be honest, because we're practicing. A bunch of you did, didn't you? You cannot. Right? Because x squared plus x squared. Right? Everyone agrees? There's nothing I can do there. If x equals 2, that's 4 plus 4, which is 8, correct? So, if you said, oh, well, it's x to the 4th because I had the exponents, 2 to the 4th is not 8. Everybody good? You can only do stuff with exponents when you are multiplying and when you're dividing, because dividing is just multiplying by a fraction. Everybody good? So be careful with that. All right. Write as a power and evaluate. So this caused a lot of trouble for you guys, right? Let's pretend that what's under here is just x. If that was x, this would be x to the 1/2, wouldn't it? Everyone agrees, yeah? So that must mean that this is the cube root of 64 to the 1/2, right? Everybody cool with that? Now, the cube root of 64, we know is 64 to the 1/3, don't we? And all of that is to the 1/2, yes? Now, what do you do over brackets? What do you do with exponents going over brackets? You just did a quiz on this, ladies and gentlemen. What do you do with exponents over brackets? Starts with an M, ends with a Y, has ultipla in the middle of it. Multiply. Now, what is 1/2 times 1/3? 1/6. So that is 64 to the 1/6. To evaluate that, that is the 6th root of 64, which is 2. Is everybody good? Yo.
Why you don't just multiply 3 for 2?
Pardon me?
Why you don't just like multiply 3 for 2? Yeah.
You could, but I asked you to write it as a power.
Oh,
As a matter of fact, Lucas, that's the next thing I was going to say. All of you, and you need to get out of my brain too, all of you should have noticed that I had 2, 3, and I ended up with a 6. That's a shortcut you can have. But I wanted you to write it as a power so you would get this extra practice in remembering that rational exponents are the same as roots. So in this one, that's 1 over 625 to the 1/4. Right? Everyone agrees? Evaluate. The 4th root of 625 is 5, so that is 1/5. Yes. This one, now, Lucas has already pointed out a shortcut. Isn't that 2 and 2? Right? So if I just needed it as a radical, it would be the 4th root of 2401, yeah? I want it as a power, so it's also 2401 to the 1/4. Everybody good? And if you do that on your calculator, it happens to equal 7, but that's beside the point. Everybody okay? Now, notice, please, this long way got me the same answer. Yeah? This short way got me to here, and if I know what I'm doing, I can go right to here. Everybody good? Okay. What's happening down in 5? Why does 5 scare you? Maybe not scare. Why does 5 make you a little uncomfortable? Like it feels like there's a bug crawling on your neck, but it's not really there. What about 5a bugs you? Damaris? The exponents are fractions. Now, if it was 2x to the 3 times 5 to the 4th, what would the answer be? 10x 7. Because you would multiply the numbers and you would add the exponents, right? Should that rule that happened once in math ever change? So over here, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with the coefficients? What am I going to do with the coefficients? Multiply them. What's 2 times 5? 10x. What am I going to do with the exponents? Add them. What is 3/8 minus 1/8? 2/8, which is what? 1/4. Write each expression as a power and a radical. Is that a power? Good. What's the base in that? Just x. So that exponent only affects x, yes? So it is 10 to the, and then the 4th root of x. The root doesn't go in front of the 10 because 10 isn't part of the base. Good? All right, I'm going to change color for all these so it's easy to keep a track. What do you need to do with those exponents? Multiply. So that is 64a to the 1/6. What does that 1/6 affect? Just the A. So there is a power. How do I write it as a radical? Sixth root of A. Now, why is this tricky? Because some of you are going to put that, you're going to remember in your head, 64 does have a sixth root. It's 2. And you're going to put that there, and you're going to write 2. Don't. Let's go green for C. Ooh, what a mess. Where should I start? I have 2 options. I could start inside the brackets, but I could also multiply that, couldn't I? Does it matter which one I do? If I do this, I've got 64A to the 1/6. Is that okay? How does that blue differ from this red? The whole thing gets it. So that is the 6th root of 64A. Now, does that simplify?
No. Yeah. No, yeah.
Interesting.
It's not simplified yet.
It's not simplified yet.
2.
Because that is 2 6th root of A. Because the 64 has a 6th root, but the A doesn't. Everybody cool? Yeah. Now, if this is bothering you, like you don't quite remember how to do it, if you turn a couple of pages in your book, this is the very next thing we're doing. We're going over these for when it's not perfect, like this. Okay? So if you're a little worried about radicals, don't be, because we're about to get into them. Okay? And this one, any different? There's no bracket around the 64. So this is what? Tricky.
64 to the 1/2 over.
There you go. 64 to the 1/2. A to the 1/6. 64 to the 1/2 is what? 8, because it's the square root of 64 and the 6th root of A. What is the square root of 64? Close. 8. 6th root A. Does everybody see the very subtle differences between B, C, and D? Does everybody see why I called this the sneaky review? Because all 3 of those look very, very similar, don't they? And all 3 of them invite a little mistake, don't they? But if you go nice and slow, it's just the same 5 laws that we've always had, yes? All right. The assembly is when they call us down.
Dr. Students, we're running a few minutes behind. We're still waiting for the writers to show up. So if teachers can please hold your classes in your room until we call you down to the gym for the opening ceremony.
Okay.
Hold your classes till you hear from us.
1 sec.
Thank you.